Level 1, the nobody. You are 17 years old. You post videos from your bedroom on a phone with a cracked screen you've been meaning to replace for 8 months. The lighting is a desk lamp angled wrong. You've filmed the same 40-second bit 11 times because your voice cracks on the third line every single take. You post it anyway at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday because Tuesday nights feel less embarrassing than Fridays, when everyone you know is actually out doing something. It gets 34 views by morning. 6 of them are you checking. You know all 6 people who commented, and 3 of them are your cousin using 2 different accounts. You tell your parents you're just messing around. You are not just messing around. You rewatch your own video and wince at your own face for 4 full minutes, then post another one anyway on Thursday. Nobody asked you to do this. Nobody is waiting for it. You do it because something in your chest won't let you stop, and you don't have a better word for that feeling than the one everyone uses. You call it a hobby. It isn't a hobby. A hobby doesn't keep you up until 2 a.m. recutting a joke that only gets 4 seconds longer for the effort. You keep a note on your phone titled Ideas, 147 entries deep, most of them just a sentence fragment you'll never finish. You add 3 more before bed. You have no idea yet that this exact habit is the only thing that separates you from the version of you who quits in 6 months. Level 2, the local face. You are 20. One video did something the other 200 didn't. Nobody can tell you exactly why. It's you reacting badly to a burnt grilled cheese, unscripted, filmed by accident while your phone was propped against a cereal box. It gets 900,000 views in 9 days. Your notifications become a language you don't speak yet. Strangers use your face as a reaction image without knowing your name. You get recognized for the first time at a gas station by a kid who says your line back to you wrong, and you don't correct him because he looks so happy to have gotten it half right. Your follower count crosses 40,000 and you refresh it more than you check your actual messages from actual friends. A local news station DMs you asking to feature you in a Internet Personalities to Watch segment. You say yes before finishing the sentence. They film you at your actual kitchen table. It airs at 11:20 p.m. on a Tuesday to maybe 4,000 people, and you watch it live alone with your phone recording the TV screen so you have proof this happened. You try to make a follow-up to the grilled cheese video using the exact same setup, same cereal box, same angle. It gets 1,200 views. You learn the first hard lesson of this level. The algorithm rewards accidents, not formulas, and you can't reverse engineer luck just because you finally understood what it felt like. Level 3, the rising name. You are 22. Brands you actually recognize start emailing. The first offer is $300 for a post about a phone case. You would have done it for free and you don't tell them that. The second offer is $4,000. You buy a real camera. You still don't know how to use half its settings, but it looks different on screen, and that's apparently most of the job at this level. A talent manager named Devin reaches out, works with 3 creators you've heard of, takes 20% of everything going forward. You sign without reading page 4. Your face starts appearing on other people's screens without you posting anything, clipped and reposted by accounts that aren't yours. Caption things you never said. You Google yourself for the first time, and the ninth result is a thread of strangers debating whether you're actually funny or just loud. You read all 340 replies. You tell yourself you won't do that again. You do it again the next week. Devin books you your first paid appearance. A mall opening 2 states away, $1,500 plus a hotel room with a bed that smells like industrial cleaner. 14 people show up to actually meet you. You sign every autograph like it's 4,000 because you don't yet know which version of this is the normal one. Level 4, the public face. You are 24. You walk into a restaurant and the hostess's whole posture changes before you've said your name. Someone asks for a photo while you're still chewing. You say yes because saying no, even once, becomes a screenshot with a caption about how you've changed. You haven't changed. You've just learned that every version of you is now permanent and searchable. Your first brand deal with an actual budget lands, $60,000 for a campaign that takes 4 hours to film. You buy your mother a car. You don't buy yourself anything, not yet, because some part of you is still waiting to be told this isn't real. A tabloid adjacent account posts a blurry photo of you leaving a coffee shop with the caption, "Spotted." You didn't know you'd been spotted. You didn't know leaving a coffee shop was now an event. You read the comments once. You never do that again. Your mother starts getting recognized too, just from the video where she appears for 4 seconds making the coffee you filmed. She loves it more than you expected her to. You notice her checking her own phone differently now, the way you used to, and you don't know if you should have warned her about what that checking eventually becomes. Level 5. The headline. You are 26. Something you said in a live stream 3 years ago, half joking, badly worded, gets clipped and resurfaces with 8 million views and a headline that flattens every ounce of context out of it. Your name trends for 30 hours. You watch strangers who have never spoken to you decide, in real time, exactly who you are. Your management team drafts an apology statement. You read it 4 times before posting it. It doesn't matter. Half the internet has already moved on to the next name by the time it goes up. Your mother calls, worried in a way she's never been about anything you've posted before. You tell her you're fine. You are not fine. But fine is the only word small enough to say out loud. You get invited onto 3 different podcasts to give your side. You take exactly one. You spend the other 2 nights lying on your bathroom floor because it's the only room in your apartment without a window someone could theoretically photograph through, which makes no sense, and you know it makes no sense, and you stay there anyway. A brand quietly ends a partnership, citing shifting priorities in an email sent at 6 a.m. on a Sunday, the kind of timing that tells you everything the wording won't. You don't argue. You've already learned that arguing just extends how long the story stays alive. Level 6, the name everyone knows. You are 29. You don't introduce yourself anymore. People already know or pretend badly that they don't. You've signed with an agency that also represents 2 actors and a former Olympic swimmer. Your deals now have lawyers on both sides and average $250,000 each. You buy a house with a gate, not because you wanted a gate, but because 3 different strangers have shown up at your old address. One of them convinced you were secretly married to her. You hire an assistant, then a second one, then a publicist who screens your emails before you ever see them. You go a full year without personally reading a single piece of hate mail because someone else now reads it for you and decides what's worth mentioning. Your old friends stop inviting you to things, not out of malice, but because every hangout now requires a security conversation nobody wants to have over text. You notice the group chat has gone quiet. You tell yourself you'll fix it later. Later keeps not arriving. You throw a birthday party and realize, counting the room, that 11 of the 19 people there are on someone's payroll, including yours. You still have a good time. You just also notice, for the first time, exactly what you noticed. Level 7, the Icon Building. You are 32. You headline your first arena tour, not music, just you, on a stage, talking, and 14,000 people bought a ticket for that. You have a tour manager, a security lead, a person whose entire job is managing your schedule down to 15-minute blocks. Your face is on a billboard in Times Square for a brand deal worth $1.2 million, and you drive past it once, alone, at 2 a.m., just to look at it, and you don't tell anyone you did that. You meet people who grew up on your content, now grown, crying while shaking your hand, telling you that you got them through something specific and terrible. You look each of them in the eye because they deserve that, and it costs you more than you expected it to, every single time. A journalist from a major outlet spends 3 weeks profiling you. The final piece is 40% about your work and 60% about a decade-old controversy you thought was finally buried. You learn that nothing you've ever done is finally buried. It's all just waiting to be relevant again. Backstage after the last show of the tour, your team pops champagne and someone hands you a laminated tour itinerary as a keepsake. You keep it in a drawer for a decade, the only physical object from that entire year you can actually hold in your hand. Level 8, the untouchable. You are 36. You haven't posted anything unscripted in 4 years. Every word is reviewed by a team of 6 people before it reaches anyone. You are, technically, one of the most recognizable faces on the internet, and also one of the loneliest people you know. And those 2 facts live in the same body without ever quite touching. You get invited to award shows where you sit 2 seats from people you watched on television as a child. They know your name. That still doesn't feel real. You start therapy quietly twice a week with someone whose entire client list is people exactly like you. And for the first time in years, you say a true sentence out loud that isn't scripted for anyone's approval. You are worth, on paper, more than your entire hometown's median household income multiplied by 400. You still check your notifications first thing every morning, the same habit from the cracked screen phone at 17, except now the numbers are so large they've stopped meaning anything at all. Your therapist asks, near the end of a session, when the last time was you did something purely because you wanted to, with no one else watching or approving at first. You start to answer, you stop. You realize you're doing the math out loud in front of the one person you don't have to perform the answer for. Level 9. The legend's still working. You are 45. A whole generation grew up not remembering a time before you existed in their feeds. Young creators cite you in interviews the way you once cited people twice your age. You watch one of them accept an award and thank you by name, and you feel something complicated, half pride, half a strange grief for the version of yourself who filmed a burnt grilled cheese by accident and had no idea what he was starting. You've outlasted 4 platforms. You've watched entire ecosystems rise and collapse while your name stayed relevant through all of them. Not because you were the loudest, but because you were the one still standing when the others quit. A documentary crew spends a year following you around for a retrospective. Watching the rough cut, you don't recognize the person in half the early footage. You're not sure if that person would recognize you either. You've made real money now, the generational kind, the kind that requires people whose entire job is protecting money from you spending it badly. You sign off on things you don't fully read anymore because you've learned, expensively, which people to actually trust. You start mentoring a handful of younger creators, not for content, not on camera, just phone calls, just answering the same questions you once had nobody to ask. One of them asks if it was worth it. You take longer to answer than either of you expects. Level 10. The memory. You are gone. It happened the way these things happen, quickly or slowly, but either way the internet finds out within minutes. Your name trends for the last time, for real this time, not for a clip or a controversy, but because you are actually permanently gone. Every platform you ever built an audience on puts your old content back at the top of everyone's feed. People who haven't thought about you in a decade watch your earliest, worst, most awkward videos again, the cracked screen ones, and cry at how young you looked, how unfinished, how completely unaware of what was coming. Creators who never met you post tributes anyway because you were the reason half of them ever picked up a camera at all. Your old ideas note is found by your family while going through your phone. 147 fragments, most still unfinished. One of them dated the night before you filmed the grilled cheese video that started everything. Nobody knows what to do with it. Someone screenshots it anyway, because even unfinished, in the end, it still sounds exactly like you. A 17-year-old in a bedroom somewhere, phone propped against a cereal box, watches one of your oldest clips at 2 a.m. and doesn't know your name yet. Only that something about the way you talked to the camera, back before anyone was watching, made this feel like a thing worth trying herself. She posts her own first video that same night. It gets 34 views by morning. She checks 6 times. She has no idea what she's about to give up, or what she's about to build, or how loud this can get before it goes quiet again. She'll figure it out. They always do. The cycle continues.